Now, if you've been watching Asian horror movies for a while, you probably know of the Korean film Tale of Two Sisters. This psychological horror film is no stranger to Asian movie enthusiasts. In fact, this 2003 movie is based off a Korean folklore story called Janghwa Hongron, or Roseflower Red Lotus. So the question is, does this movie live up to the hype as one of Korea's finest horror movies, or is it a bit overrated? Let's find out. So this movie opens up with two girls coming back from a mental institute to go back to their countryside home to meet their dad and their cruel stepmother. Now once they get back to their house, things unravel a little slowly. The movie moves at a snail's pace a bit as they're just trying to feel out what's changed in their house since coming back from the mental institute. But as the movie goes on, strange things start to happen within the house. Things start to break down. Tensions between the three women in the house, the two sisters and the stepmom, quickly deteriorate as the father really just doesn't know what to do. And as you watch this film deeper and deeper, you start to wonder, why are they at each other's throats? Why are they so mad at each other? And why is the father so indifferent? And as the film goes on, there's a lot of creepy things that happen within the house at the same time. And you don't know what's going on until big plot twists and bombs get dropped on you. Then you're like, whoa, you have to watch this film in an entirely different angle and different way. It's actually a thinking person's horror film. It's not just like a scream fest or horror fest or blood or gore. You actually gotta think about it from different angles. You have to fill the pieces of the puzzle, and that's what the film does so well. Now, unlike a lot of horror movies where you have a lot of shock horror or surprise horror, this movie doesn't do that for you. It actually just builds up the environment. Sure, it has a couple shock horrors here and there. The music, the camera angles, and the environment are what really scare you. That's where this movie gets the horror tag. It really builds up on you. You know something's gonna happen, but it just doesn't spring it on you immediately. Now, the name of the game in this film is symbolism. There's so much symbolism in this movie. In fact, if you watch this movie for the first time, you probably won't catch all of it. You'll just be like, why is that there? Or why is that there? Or what's the meaning of these colors? And you get that only by watching this film multiple times, at least a second viewing. When I watched this film the first time, I didn't get it. I actually was like, okay, why is that there? But after watching this movie 3 times, it made perfect sense. Now, we can't talk about this movie without talking about the music. And the music here is great. From the beginning of the movie where it has that melancholy, peaceful feel, to those creepy horror moments where you're like, oh my gosh, something bad's gonna happen, the music builds tension. Not to mention, this movie also uses silence as a really good way of using no music. When the sisters are exploring the house, or the stepmother is going around, or the dad's going somewhere, you know something's up when there's no music involved. So this movie mixes a perfect blend of music that fits the mood perfectly, as well as silence during those times where it just doesn't need music. And I think that's a really good sign of what good horror movies do. They know how to use silence at the best times. Now you'll notice a lot of green, brown, a little bit of yellow, and red. And there's a reason for all those colors. And you'll also notice a lot of decorated wallpaper adorned around the house. And again, it all comes back to, what does it really mean? The camera angles in this movie also add to the effect of you're actually in the house. They actually shoot the house from multiple angles. When they shoot outside the house, it shows a very vibrant scene of what's going on, that they live in a nice area, away from the city, with a beautiful countryside area with water around it. The camera angles are also very good during the horror scenes where it really makes you wonder what's behind that corner or what's in that room. Am I seeing something I should be seeing, but the camera is not really showing me? It's a really good way to build up horror and tension at the same time. The lighting also has to be talked about in this movie, as it uses the right amount of lighting. So one scene in particular where they use lighting well is when the family plus their aunt and uncle come to the house to eat dinner. Now the lighting used in this scene is just based around the dinner table. You can't see anything around the dinner table. So you might be wondering, what's behind that corridor? What's behind that hallway? What's behind that table? What's behind that door? You don't know. Perhaps the strongest part of this movie, if not one of them, is the acting. This movie would not be the same without lead actress Im Soo-jung, who plays the rebellious Soo-mi, who fights against her father as well as stepmother every step of the way. Soo-mi's character also protects her younger sister Soo-yeon throughout the entire movie, and as you can see, that older sister protective vibe around her. Moon Geun-young also did a good job as the weaker sister, playing Soo-yeon. She was very vulnerable. She always needed help from her older sister Soo-mi, and it pretty much showed in that movie. She would usually cry a lot. She'd always look for her sister every possible trouble, and her role was just played beautifully. The other person that equaled Im Soo-jung's acting has to be the evil stepmother, Moon Jung-ah. The reason she acts so well is she pulls this evil, calculated smile and diabolical plan throughout the entire film. She's trying to butter up to her dad, but at the same time, she doesn't really like the sisters too much. Now, one of the fun facts about both Im Soo-jung and Yoon Jung-ah Despite the fact that these two were rivals throughout the movie and were at each other's throats, these two are actually really good friends in real life. So they're actually helping each other on set, they actually hung out a lot, they actually appreciated each other's company and acting. Now I looked up this movie on Naver, Korean's Google, to see how popular this movie is in 2016. And it still stands the test of time. A poll that I saw voted this movie is still the #1 horror movie of all time. And a lot of the Korean commenters said that this movie is both scary, but yet psychological, and it makes you think. It's not just like the standard horror movie like I said earlier. That's why this movie is still the most popular and highly ranked movie among Korean netizens, as well as a lot of international fans as well. Props also must be given to director Kim Jae-un. Kim Jae-un and his writing staff set up a really good structure for this movie, like slowly unraveling it at first, and then when the movie drops a plot bomb or twist, then it totally changes your mind how you think about the film, while showing just enough clues in the forms of symbolism to see, okay, that actually does make sense, or what is that there? I think I'll watch this movie another time to catch what really went on, to understand the scene fully. Now, my two big critiques about this movie is that one, it does sometimes fall back into Asian horror movie cliches, and two, the movie is slow. And not just in the beginning where it's okay and they're trying to build the story, environment, and what's going on, but during the middle of the movie, it's slow. And not until the final 25% of the movie where the movie picks up and gets faster. And I wish during the middle of the movie, they made the plot go a little faster. So what do I think about A Tale of Two Sisters? It's not just my favorite Korean horror movie of all time, it's my favorite Asian horror movie of all time. I just like how this movie makes you think on so many levels. You have to rewatch it multiple times to get the full story, and there's so much meaning behind it. Plus, it's in one of my favorite genres, horror. Watch this movie if you like psychological horror movies or you like to think. This movie is just that good. It's hard. If you're an Asian horror movie fan, or just a horror movie fan in general, please don't miss this film. It's really good. And despite what I said earlier, don't let this movie's slow pacing get to you. This pacing, although it could be faster, actually gives you more time to think about what's going on in the movie while you watch it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review of A Tale of Two Sisters. And if you guys like what you saw and want to learn more about Asian movies in depth, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you guys want more Asian movie suggestions to watch, please download our free ebook down below called 108 Asian Movies to Watch. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy, guys.